What's up, mobile devs? Today we are going to create from scratch this beautiful React Native animation. And in order to do it, we are going to use the reanimated package and the React Native GestureHandler package. So in this video we are just going to focus on this animation and we are not going to complete the menu with all these sections. But if you like this kind of content related to React Native animations, feel free to subscribe to my channel for more videos in the future. So that said, we can finally move to the code part. So here we have a React Native project initialized with the Expo. In this tutorial, I've already installed the reanimated package and the GestureHandler package. And since we want to display here the menu icon, I've also installed the Expo vector icons package. So in order to complete the React Native reanimated installation process, don't forget to add the React Native reanimated plugin inside the bubble.config.js. So that said, we can start to refactor a little bit the style right here. So I'm going to use this kind of dark color. So let's get rid of this text and let's update the status bar style. So what we are going to do? Basically here we are just going to add a white view and we are going to translate on the horizontal axis this white view. So we are going of course to translate it with a PanGestureHandler. So for now let's just add this white view. So let's expand it, and in order to see something, let's just remove the justify content and align item style from the container style. So here it is. So for design purposes, I will just use a SafeAreaView in order to visualize the status bar and the background color. But of course, you can just use a common view. So let's just add this SafeAreaView. Here I'm using the SafeAreaView from React Native. It is probably better to use the React Native SafeAreaView, but I don't want to increase the complexity of this tutorial, but I will put the React Native SafeAreaView in the video description if you are interested. So basically we just want to translate on the horizontal axis this view right here. Therefore, since we are going to animate this view, of course, we need to use an animated view. So let's remember that we are going to use animated from React Native reanimated. So since we want to translate on the horizontal axis, we need to use a PanGestureHandler. So let's wrap this animated view with the PanGestureHandler. And let's see how to use this PanGestureHandler. So basically, we need to assign, we need to handle the PanGesture event and assign it to the onGesture event parameter. So let's create the PanGesture event, and in order to do it, we need to use the useAnimatedGestureHandler hook from React Native reanimated. So if you are not familiar with this hook right here, feel free to check out my previous videos. I did a bunch of videos talking about this hook right here, and I will put them in the video description. So basically this hook is made in order to handle multiple different gesture handlers. Since we want to handle the PanGestureHandler behavior, we just need to specify here the PanGestureHandler gesture event type. It is a little bit hard to remember, but it's quite easy. So for instance, if you want to use the PanGestureHandler component, you just need to change here PanGestureHandler and import this type from React Native GestureHandler. So that said, what we can do with this hook, basically we can access a lot of different callbacks. And with this callback, we can access the pan event. For instance, right now we just want to use the onActive callback, and with the onActive callback, we can access the current translation X. So here, let's access the event. and let's print the event.translationX. So let's reload. And we can see right here that everything is working properly. So we need to find a way to assign this translationX to this animated view. And in order to do it, we need first of all to create a shared value. So let's say translateX equal to use shared value with the initial value equal to 0. We need to assign to the translateX value the event.translationX. And we need to pass the translateX value to this animated view with a reanimated style. So these are the three ingredients needed in order to build an animation with the react-native-reanimated package. So here the useAnimated style is quite easy. We just need here to pass a React-Native common style. So since we want to pass the translateX value, we need to pass here the transformer array and just provide the translateX value. So in the end, let's just assign this reanimated style to this animated view. So let's reload. And we can see here that this view is translating on the horizontal axis. So if I release the finger and I start again the animation, we can see that there is this kind of glitch. So in order to avoid this kind of behavior, we need to store the previous translateX value. So in order to do it, we need to use a specific object from Reanimated that is called context. Basically, the context is an object that we can use in order to store a value between the callbacks of this hook right here. So this explanation is quite messy, but it is quite easy to understand how to do it. Let's just see it in practice. So let's use the onStart callback. In the onStart callback, we want to store the current translateX value inside the context. We can access the context as the second parameter of all the callbacks. And we want to store inside the X value the previous translateX value. So later we want to consider this previous translateX value inside the onActive callback. So let's reload. And we can see that everything is working nicely. So basically here we are just storing the previous value inside the context object. So as you can see, TypeScript is complaining because we haven't specified the context type. We can specify the context as the second type of the useAnimatedGestureHandler hook. So here, let's specify the context type. We just want to use the X value, so X of type number. And we can see that here everything is working nicely. So right now the menu is almost completed. What we want to do, we want just to return back on the end. So when we release the finger, we just want that this view right here returns back to the beginning. And in order to do it, we can just use the onEnd callback from the useAnimatedGestureHandler hook. In the onEnd callback, we just want to restore back the translateX value to value 0. So we can see that everything is working almost nicely. But of course we want to animate. So let's just specify the with timing function. So from a reanimated, of course. So here everything is working nicely. So of course we don't always want this kind of behavior. So we don't want always to translate back to the value 0. But we want that if we translate before a specific threshold, the translateX value returns back to value 0. Otherwise, if we translate, for instance, until this point right here, we want that the translateX value arrives to value screen width divided by 2, so to the half of the screen. So first of all, let's define this threshold, and let's access the screen width parameter. So in order to access the screen width, we just need to use the dimensions API from React Native. So let's say dimensions.getWindow, and here let's say width, and let's assign here the width to screen width. So let's define also the threshold equal to screen width divided by 3, for instance. Of course, you can use whatever threshold you want. So here let's say that if the translate x value is greater, let's say is less or equal to threshold, we want to translate back to value 0. Otherwise, we want to translate to screen width divided by 2. So let's see. And we can see that everything is working nicely. So here it is translating back to value 0, but if we translate over here, it will translate to screen width divided by 2. So right now we need to find also a way to handle the perspective behavior, and it is basically what this tutorial is all about. So under the perspective concept, there is a lot of math, but to be honest, I will just add some experimental values. So I did a bunch of tries, and I choose some values that were good for me. So let's say, let's add the perspective to the transform array. I will just add a perspective equal to 100. And we need to add a rotation in order to appreciate this perspective parameter. So here we need to add the rotate y parameter. So let's say, for instance, 0 degree. So of course, here we need to find a way to evaluate the rotation, and I think that a good option is to use the interpolate function and to define the rotate value from the translate x value. So here, let's say rotate equal to interpolate. Interpolate is a function from reanimated, and let's specify that we want to interpolate the translate x value. And here we need to define the input range. So since the translate x value will change from value 0 to value screen width divided by 2, we need to define the input range equal to 0 and screen width divided by 2. So of course we can define whatever input range we want, but I think that this is the best option right now. And we need to define the output range. So we want to rotate from 0 degree to 5 degree. So these are just experimental values. Of course, you can use whatever values you want. So let's assign the rotate right here, and let's reload. So we can see that the perspective is working, but not as expected. And for now, let's just add a minus sign right here. So in order to fix the orientation. And we can see that the animation is working quite nicely. So let's reduce a little bit the output range, let's say 2.5. And I think it is almost fine. So of course you can use whatever values you want. But I think like this is almost fine. So you can see that if we continue the translation, the rotate will be interpolate with values that are greater of 3. We want to fix this behavior. We want to clamp the rotation after the translation greater than screen width divided by 2. And in order to do it, we just need to pass the extrapolate.clamp parameter. So basically we are just saying that if translate x value is greater than screen width divided by 2, we want that rotate stays equal to value 3. So let's reload. It will be almost the same behavior as before. but we can see that the rotation isn't greater than 3 degrees. So I want also to animate the border radius right here. So let's use the same technique. So let's copy and paste, and let's say border radius equal to interpolate, and here let's define 15 as the output range. So let's pass also the border radius to the reanimated style, and let's reload. So you can see that everything is working nicely. So for now, the missing piece is just the menu icon. We can, so we need to add this menu icon right here. So since we are using the Expo Vector Icons package, we just need to go to this website. I take this website always from the Expo Vector Icons documentation. I will put this link in the video description. And here let's search for a menu icon. So I think this one looks nice. So let's copy the import. And let's copy the rendering. So let's place it inside the animated view. So here it is. Let's increase the size to 32 and let's update the color. So let's just use the background color. So this black background color. So here let's define the background color equal to this one. And let's reload. Let's just add a little bit of margin. And everything is working fine. So right now we need to handle this onPress callback. So the onPress callback from the icon. So let's define here the onPress callback with the use callback hook from React for good practices. And let's pass this onPress parameter right here. So what we want to do inside this callback right here, we just want to check the current translate text value, and if the translate text value is greater than 0, we want to animate back the translate text value to value 0. Otherwise, we want to animate back the translate text value to value screen width divided by 2. So, of course, let's click here and let's click here. So everything is working nicely. Of course, we want to animate. Therefore, let's use with timing right here. And everything is working nicely. So I hope that this explanation was clear. I think that this tutorial is quite interesting because there are a lot of different animation concepts inside it. I prefer to stop the animation right here and avoid the, let's say, the complete menu build with all this section, because it was a kind of a waste of time and it wasn't related to the animation concept. So what I want also to say is that if you are using Android, you need always to use the GestureHandlerRootView from a react-native-GestureHandler and wrap everything with this GestureHandlerRootView. So at the beginning, I thought that this component was just related to React Native CLI. So basically, if you are using React Native CLI and you are using Android, you always need to add this component. But the problem occurs also if you are using Expo sometimes. So let's remember to add this component. So I hope that everything was clear. Thanks a lot for staying all this time with me. And if you have any kind of suggestions for future videos, feel free to leave a comment in the section below.